Beekeeping equipment, a list of essential beekeeping equipment and tools. Beekeeping is amazing and becomes a profitable hobby or small business when you have the right tools and equipment. With the proper use of beekeeping equipment, anybody has the ability to become a beekeeper who willing to learn about bees. The use of proper tools and equipment will increase the beekeeper's efficiency. Read and learn more about the beekeeping equipment and tools that are essential for beekeepers. Many people may be surprised that it can be done in urban as well as rural areas. No matter what are the objectives of your beekeeping, understanding the importance, awareness of bee behavior, and use of equipment will aid you greatly when it comes to protecting yourself and making sure your hives are successful and productive. Every beekeeper should have several basic tools for beehive management and honey collection. Usually, bees are attracted to dim colors. So, light-colored clothing is essential. Bees are attracted by scented lotions, colognes, or perfumes. So, these should be avoided. Successful beekeeping requires specific tools and equipment and some special tools to avoid bee stings. There are several tools and equipment available with beekeeping supply companies. How to use beekeeping tools. Number 1. Smoker. A smoker is a metal pot with attached bellows, an essential tool for a beekeeper. A smoker blows a puff of smoke on the hives when necessary. Remember, beekeeping tools kit if you buy as a set then it's cheaper. But unfortunately, if some tools become useless or damaged then you have to buy them separately as a single piece. Number 2. Beekeeping brush. Removing bees from the hive can cause cell damage. So, a very soft hairbrush is usually used by beekeepers. The most popular is the horsehair brush. Number 3. Scraper/hive tool. You may use a hive tool/scraper for scraping wax, loosen hive parts and manipulate frames. A scraper or hive tool is the most common and essential tool for beekeeping. Number 4. Wax cutter or knife, either normal or electrical. Before keeping in the extractor you must cut the capping of cells to spin honey. A sharp knife or uncapping roller or fork can be used. But an electrical knife is more efficient than others. Number 5. Wax heating pot. For making a wax sheet it's necessary to melt the wax. You can make wax sheets yourself or buy them ready from a beekeeping supplier. Number 6. Wax sheet maker. The wax sheet is used to make a foundation of a bee frame to help bees make their nest as soon as possible and easily. Bees use wax to make their nest. So, the wax foundation helps them to work efficiently. Number 7. Comb puller. Bees usually fasten the comb with gum or propolis. So, it's difficult to remove the comb with the bare hand. A comb puller is used to easily remove the sticky combs. Beehive equipment. You can purchase hives from local dealers or other beekeepers or order them online. The hives are obviously the most essential tool for the beekeeper. Starter kits with all of the components and tools required for assemblings, such as boards, boxes, nails, and foundation pins. Number 1. Collecting honeybee hives. These are often available for purchase and easier to assemble than homemade kits. The different components or parts of your hives are: brood chamber, inner cover, outer cover, entrance hole, nit trap, top and bottom bars, etc. Since you should check your hives from time to time, you have to practice assembling and disassembling the hives before you start your beekeeping. Number 2. Beehive frames. After getting your bees in hand, install your beehives. If you start when nectar is not available, install a honeybee feeder in your hive to feed the bees. Place one feeder on the top of the direct brood chamber and another at the entrance of the hive, a third pail feeder on the inner cover hole, and a fourth baggy feeder on the slats along the top bars. And place a fifth frame feeder along with frames in the upper deep hive. Number 3. Feeder pot. The feeder pot is used only in the off-season. Beekeepers keep sugar syrup in a pot daily to feed the bees artificially. In the off-season, while there is a crisis of natural flowers, bees can't get enough nectar for their feeding. To keep your bees alive and healthy you should use sugar syrup as a nectar substitute. Sugar syrup is made with 1:1 sugar and water boiled to prepare a uniform mixture. The feeder is an essential part of the hive during the first few weeks of beekeeping. Remember, all of the feeder installment options may not be available in every hive structure. For a single hive structure, only one feeder is required. A 10-frame super box is shown in the picture. You should place 10 frames superbox on the top of a 10 frames brood chamber. A beehive includes the following parts. Number 1. Brood chamber or box. This is the base and bottom part of beehives. It could be 8 frames or 10 frames. And 8 frames are commonly used almost everywhere. Number 2. Superbox. At harvesting season, this superbox is kept above the brood chamber. The number of frames of the super should be equal to or less than the brood box. Number 3. Top cover. After installing the hive, it's covered with a top cover for keeping safe from rain, winds, etc. to keep tight with the body. The bees will fasten with propolis, gum, collected from trees. Also, they will cover with wax if there is any hole or space in the body or cover. Number 4. The separator between brood and superbox. This separator is used to separate the queen from laying eggs in the superbox during harvesting season. Superbox is installed in to harvest honey. If the queen lays eggs there, it's difficult to remove for harvesting and get damage. Beekeepers' safety tools. Number 1. Beekeeping suits. You should wear a beekeeping suit and veil to protect your body and face from bee stings. This defensive equipment is essential for beekeeping, especially when you are a beginner. A beekeeping suit is one piece of cloth that covers the trunk and limbs made of light-colored material. Hand gloves and closed-toed shoes should also be worn, and keep in mind that bees like to crawl up once they can enter inside your clothing. If drawstrings are not available, you may consider using masking tape or string to close off any openings. Although beekeeping suits can be replaced with normal clothing, beginners should always wear a professional-grade beekeeping mask to protect their eyes, face, body, and neck. Beekeeping suits include the following. A. Beekeeper's veil. Beekeeper's veil is used to keep safe head, neck, shoulder, and face from the bee sting. Definitely, these are very important organs to be kept safe while you are maintaining beehives. B. Full shirt and pant. Beekeepers wear full shirts and pants to protect their bodies. There should not be any space or gap between your body and clothing to ensure the bees can't reach your body. Number 2. Safety shoes. The end of the pants should enter the safety shoes. This will help you to keep your body fit for handling beehives and protect your body from the bee sting. Number 3. Hand gloves. Hand gloves are essential to keep safe your hand while working on a beehive. It's recommended to use leather hand gloves for the best performance of handling beehives. The honey extractor or spinning equipment. Number 1. Harvester or honey extractor, manual. It is fit for a few numbers of beehives to harvest honey manually. A manual extractor is recommended for beekeeping as a hobby or as a side business or as a small business. Number 2. Honey extractor, automatic. While you are maintaining hundreds of or thousands of beehives, it's not possible to extract honey manually. So, the automatic extractor is a highly recommended large bee farm or professional beekeeping. Number 3. Sieve or filter to clean syrup or honey. To filter sugar syrup or extracted honey, a sieve is used to remove all clutter from honey or syrup. While honey is extracted, a lot of wax and dead bees are found. To separate this floating thing, you may need to filter it several times. Number 4. Cone/funnel to pour honey into the jar. A cone/funnel is used to pour or put honey in the jar or bucket. This will ease your work of filling a bucket with honey. Honey processing equipment. Number 1. Heater or woven. For manual processing, a heater or woven with a control switch is necessary. Number 2. Pots and a wooden separator. In the picture, you can see a bottom pot with water and an upper pot with honey. There is a 3/4 wooden separator between these two pots. This arrangement will protect from direct heat that damage many ingredients of honey. You can make a similar arrangement by yourself. Number 3. Temperature indicator or thermometer. While you use manual processing, you must use a temperature indicator or thermometer to control heat and avoid overheating. Number 4. Moisture indicator. Frequently you have to check the density of honey to maintain the moisture or keep the moisture in a reasonable range. Remember, the moisture should be between 18% to 22%. Number 5. Automatic processing auto machine is required. The automatic processing machine is very expensive and only recommended for commercial beekeepers. But you can use a small power blanket instead of the above, which is very simple and cheap. Tips and warnings. Keep in touch with a network of local beekeeping clubs or nature centers to learn more about beekeeping in your area. They can supply you with helpful tips and tricks related to beekeeping, even they may be able to supply basic tools and equipment as well. Beekeeping can pose many serious risks to individuals who are sensitive to bees and bee stings. It is wise to check with your doctor before embarking on this interesting hobby. That's all.